Hey everybody, so welcome to today's episode of Roto's Questions. So I really want to do this topic and it's about, these mysterious Malaysian jets that have been dominating the headlines in the news this year pretty much, so at least for the last couple months. So I'm going to start with two rules that I try and live by and which will shed a lot of light on the way I feel and hopefully guide people in the right direction when researching these kinds of things. Number one, don't believe anything the government says. It's a pretty safe rule to live by. Number two, don't believe anything you see or read on the mainstream media. Why? They're owned by the same government, the same people you're not supposed to believe, so it just makes sense that you don't believe them as well. It's gotten me where I am today, so hopefully those two rules will help you guys out as well. So let's start off with this jet that went missing. I don't know if what was it, 2-3 months ago now, somewhere around there. How does a plane just simply go missing? I mean, with the technology and the police state that we live in now, like every single movement is monitored. They can track where you are by your phone. They can track your car. They can remotely take control of your car. They can track, what you're watching on your computer. They can check when you're reading your emails. They know everything about everyone at any moment they want. So how does a plane just go missing? For me, on me, I'm gonna call bullshit on that. It just doesn't happen. So what happened to the plane then? There was a lot of theories out there. When this first happened, I remember thinking like, this is gonna lead to something else. They're gonna use this, because all the dots always connect. So I remember thinking like, this is gonna lead to something else. This isn't the end of, hearing about this lost plane. So I remember there was a story that came out that there was a journalist or somebody that managed to keep their phone, so they say that the plane was taken to a military base called Diego Garcia. And if you don't know what Diego Garcia is, look that up because it's pretty brutal how this military base came into existence. The British and the American armies pretty much went to these islands, told all the people living there that they can't live there anymore, and just made their military base there. No one has ever been allowed to return to this base since. Pretty crazy. So, from what I read, the plane was taken there. Somebody somehow managed to hide their phone, and they sent just a blank black picture. But the thing with pictures these days is that you can track from where the picture was sent from, and when this picture got tracked, or whatever, it got tracked to Diego Garcia. So that's just one theory that the missing Malaysian jet was taken to Diego Garcia, this secret military base. And so they took it there, and why? So that this plane could later be used in a false flag terrorist attack. And just to kind of tell what a false flag attack is, it's that these attacks have been used for thousands of years around the world. So it's pretty much like when started in Roman times, and pirates used to use it as well. I think that's the best way to describe what it is using the pirates metaphor, because pirates would fly flags on their ships. So say these pirates, they had the skull and crossbones and stuff. So say one day they're gonna go rob this other ship, they'll fly the American flag and go rob this, say, English ship, and then the English will think that the Americans just robbed them, and then the English and Americans will go to war or whatever, fight after, and the pirates are over here laughing because they just got away with this robbery, and no one even thinks that they did it. No one even knows about them. Everyone thinks the Americans did it. That's what a false flag attack is, and that's what 9/11 was, and that's everything, right? So, all right, so this missing plane goes Diego Garcia or whatever. Fast forward a couple months, and now all of a sudden, there's this Malaysian jet that gets shot down over Ukraine. And who's it being blamed on? It's being blamed on the rebels that are armed by Russia. Coincidence? Did anyone else think that it was strange that, all of a sudden there's these two Malaysian jets that are just dominating the world headlines? I mean, I thought it was pretty strange as soon as I heard about this crash and that this plane got shot down, that it was another Malaysian Airlines jet. I mean, to me, that's pretty fishy. So now it got shot down over Ukraine. They're blaming it on rebels armed by Russia. So it's just, to me, that's a false flag. They're just blaming it on Russia and their rebels so that they have more reasons to put these new sanctions on Russia or possibly even start a war with Russia. So could it be the same plane? Could this jet that got shot down be the same plane that went missing a few months ago? It could be. You never know. I'd believe that more than what they're saying in the mainstream news. And so people in Ukraine, witness reports say that, those bodies that rained down from the sky. And then I also read that a lot of people were saying that these people were already dead before the plane crash, So there's ways that they can tell that, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more to this story that comes out during the next few months of investigation. I know the Netherlands have already started their investigation, and I'm sure a few other countries have as well. So that's pretty crazy that these people may have been dead already, which gives more credence to the story that this is the same jet from a few months ago. So another theory about it is that there was Ukrainian fighter jets that were traveling along the same route or even tailing this plane, and that maybe the rebels were trying to shoot down those planes instead. Who knows? I also read something else that was pretty interesting, saying that there was a plane that Vladimir Putin was on that was also flying along the same route, and that the Americans actually tried to shoot down that plane, and that it was an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin, which it sounds very crazy and everything, but it's not that far out there if you really think about it. I mean, he's been causing them a lot of problems lately, and to take him out would make things run a lot smoother and easier for them in Ukraine and the Middle East. So you never know. There's a lot of theories out there, and I don't claim to know exactly what happened or who is behind it. But it's also very interesting timing of when this plane got shot down, because as soon as that happened, that's all they were talking about in the news. But what else was going on at the exact same time? That's when Israel began its ground invasion on Gaza. It's pretty crazy. Nobody was talking about that. No one was like, oh, hey, the ground invasion of Gaza happened. Everyone was just like, no, don't look over here at this genocide that's going on over here. Look over here, because these terrorist rebels just shot down a civilian plane. Everyone look over here. Don't pay attention to the genocide we're committing. That's what's going on right now. So that's why you always got to ask yourself when there's these stories that just dominate the headlines and take over and nothing else is talked about. It's like, why are they talking about this? Why do they want us to pay attention so badly to this? What else is going on? Everyone's pointing over here, but what's going on over here? We got to be able to spot this out and just pay attention to everything. Like, there's nothing wrong with paying attention to what's over here as long as you still know what's going on over here. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents. I don't know. I think that's pretty much really all I gotta say. So just remember, just don't trust the government. Don't believe what you see in the news. Do your own research. Like I've said, I've said this in so many videos, and I'm gonna keep on saying it because I think it's the most important thing. Just do your own research. And speaking on research, if you want to know more about the history behind these kinds of operations, because this is all connected. The Malaysian Jets, 9/11, and then this goes back a long time, even back to the 60s. There's an Operation Northwoods. It used to be classified. It's not anymore. So look up Operation Northwoods. It dealt with. This is when the Americans were trying to get rid of Fidel Castro. So the CIA made up this whole plot that they were gonna hijack planes, steal planes, shoot down civilian planes, all on American soil. So this is hijacking American planes, stealing American planes, and shooting down civilian planes over American land. And they were gonna do this all so that then they could conjure up some phony evidence and blame it on the Cuban government, and that would be their reason to go and invade Cuba. This is all fact. It's not a conspiracy. It's all detailed and information written down in unclassified documents. So if you don't believe me, look that up. And that was 50 years ago, and they're still using the same tactics today. So if you want a little bit of history on all of this, look that up. And remember, just keep doing your own research and keep thinking for yourself. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.